Okay, so in this very class, we're going to be creating an Easter design. So, firstly, I went to freepik.com and I searched for Jesus Resurrection, and you can see quite a lot of images here. So, I'm going to just pick a few of them and use for the design. So, I've downloaded some already, and they are on my phone currently. So, just search through and download some of them that you'll see us use here. All right, I also searched for Easter. All right, and I also downloaded some images. Searched for Happy Easter and downloaded some images that you're also going to be seeing. So let me just go quickly into the design. Okay, so the end goal of our design is something like this. All right, I just created this one. I made a recording before now, but unfortunately the audio wasn't on and I needed you to hear me while I explain. So I'm going to just quickly redo the process of this design here. So I'm going to just quickly start that again. Click on the plus button. I'm going to create a custom size document, 5 by 5 inches. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to go ahead and upload the images we downloaded. You can see the different images we downloaded here. Okay, so go ahead and download yours. This is the background we're using here. All right, so put up the background there, adjust it to fit in how you want it, and then let's go ahead and create our text. The text we're using is Happy Easter. We typed it directly, happy. Then we went ahead to change the font. All right, we change the font to this Yeseva 1. Okay, and then reposition it. Now you can do any format for this. If you're doing a side alignment for like side by side placement, you can see an alignment suggestion for you here. All right, an alignment within this box, and to maintain a clear margin like this, if you're moving around this, you can see the margin specification there. So it's expected that whatever you're placing shouldn't exceed this boundary here. Okay, so it's necessary you take note of that. Now let me firstly do a side arrangement here for this, and I'm going to just quickly go to the formatting section, spacing, and reduce the line spacing for the text to be closed a bit. Okay, so I'm going to just duplicate this and type Easter, and then we're going to do other things here. I'm going to just increase this a bit. And we're still within the boundary. Okay, so you can go ahead and change the colors just as you wish, and then bring in other elements for your design. You want to also have a text that explains or says other things you want to say here. I'm going to just quickly pick this text from the design we've done already. I'm going to paste it here. Don't worry about that feature, is not in all phones. I just have it here. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna just quickly paste that. Let me just repeat the process again. Paste that here, and then resize this. Now by default, when you have this, you would actually have it center aligned. So if you are doing a left alignment this way, left arrangement this way, then it's necessary you go back to the formatting section and switch it to a left alignment, then adjust it to fitting. Now this actually created this in 2 lines, so you actually want it to stay in 1 line. Okay, and then you want to adjust the line spacing. The first one was the character spacing or the letter spacing, then adjust the line spacing as well. Make sure you align it to same edge. Okay, so once you've gotten this part, all right, the remaining thing you want to do is to go ahead and put up other necessary thing you want to put up there. Extra write-ups. Let's say you want to put up extra write-ups. You want to maintain the write-up to be simple, and you want to maintain same font. So go ahead and choose the font you want to use. Let's say we don't want to use Open Sans. I want to use Aliron Regular to be other font. I think I prefer Quicksand. Yeah, so pick Quicksand. All right. So once you pick the font, you go ahead to duplicate and then create other caption you want to have here. I'm going to pick the second caption. All right, up we have here, have a blissful Easter. Okay, and I'm going to use it to replace what we have here. Yes, you cannot see it. Why? It's because the color is black. So I'm going to just quickly go to color and change the color to white so we can see what we have there. All right, have a blissful Easter from all of us. That's got you not. All right, so I'm going to just quickly leave that way. Now it's also left for you to twist this design a bit to give it some life. All right, I'm going to just make the adjustment that way. I want to have a bounding box for this, so once I put the bounding box there, the image wouldn't have to, the text now wouldn't have to stay at the edge anymore to that point because the bounding box is taking that position. And you need to make sure that the box has some breathing space from the text itself, so give it some little spacing and then reposition your text. So once you've done that, you can always touch the color, play around the color. Let's say this is not the theme color you want to use, you want to make some changes, you can touch the color and then switch it up to the color you want. Let's say you want to actually use red for this, and not a hot red, maybe softer red like that. You can go ahead and do all that, make the changes you want to make. Let's say you are done making the change you want to make here. It's also necessary to note that you can combine different elements. You don't want to be moving this separately, so you want to hold down this so you get this suggestion here, this option here, and then you click on select multiple and you want to select also the box. So I'm going to just zoom in and tap on the box as well. Let me select the box first and hold it down to get that option. Then I click on select multiple and select this one. So once I do that, I click on group. Once it's grouped, you have it as one stuff. Now you can move them around together. Okay, so that is part of the arrangement you need to do to have a clean design. Okay, so we have these two. We don't want to be moving these separately, so we also going to go ahead and click and hold and then select multiple and then select all this and then group them together. So this way we have them grouped together. The remaining thing to make this design a complete stuff is to just bring in the brand logo that we have for this very design. I'm going to just still use same old one we used the last time. Go to uploads and locate it, crop it down to the size we want, and then go ahead to position it. Now it's necessary to have a logo that is as clean as possible, so you don't have to stress, like a transparent logo. Okay, so you don't have to stress about it. All right, so but in the case where you don't have one, you can also use what you have and work out something clean. Okay, so I'm gonna just use that way there, and that's it. And that's how we have a simple arrangement. Now this same design that is arranged this way can be rearranged to be in the center that way. So I'm going to select that real quick. Now to actually start adjusting it one after the other, we will need to ungroup this. So what do we do? Once you tap on this, you come to this section here, you can see ungroup, tap on it, it ungroups everything, so you can rearrange, reposition, increase the size, reduce the size, whatever thing you want to do now you can do to them individually. Okay, so I'm going to just switch it up this way and change some colors to give it a little life. So once now for this one, we already have it broken into two lines, and you also don't want it to be left aligned because you're positioning other things to the center, so you want to also position it to the center that way. So center align it that way and then reposition it that way. Okay, so Yes, other things you might want to do is to have it in same line, that way, and have the first one a bit larger than the second. Okay, you can also switch up colors and check out how it looks. Make sure you're not using a bright color on a bright background, and you're not using a dark color on a bright background, and dark background. So another thing was, we could also switch up the background and add some life to it. All right, that way, that gives us a little dark shade for the dark part and a little brightness for the bright part. Add a little saturation to make it a bit reddish, and then you want to add more clarity to the design to give us a little great feel that way. Now if you don't want to use clarity and you want to blur out the background, you can also blur it out like that, but don't blur it out completely. Give it a very soft blur. All right, for this kind of design I would prefer to use a blur instead, so have a simple blur, and that way our background wouldn't be distracting to other content. Okay, just a little blur that way. I think up to say 5 thereabout. So we have a simple blur and we'll still have a clean design structure that way. Let's say we want to also add a little life to this. We can also decide to make the happy same color red this way, so this gives us a little bit different feel. And if you even want to switch it up more, if you are making this color red, that makes everything too bright. So for me, I prefer to maintain a red and black combination this way, so it gives us a more better feel that way. So that's how you can play around this. Now for the example I did at first, that I just showed us before we started designing this, I added a line. All right, so to add a line, you just come here and search for line. All right, when you search for line, all right, you have different line suggestions. So I'm gonna pick one, and then you set it up where you want it to be. Make sure you have it straight. Okay, let's say you've done it this way. You want to reduce the weight and give it the style you want. I'm using a dotted stuff, and let me just switch it up to white so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm using a dotted line there. All right, and if for any case I want to actually use line to give a breaking boundary for this, so I can comfortably move this around to bring it here, and then move this to bring it here as well. All right, so once that is done, this line, if I'm using stuffs like this, I make sure that I don't have it too transparent that way, so it's a bit faded into the background that way, so it looks something like this. So you have that kind of separation. So it's all choice. This is not compulsory stuff. I'm just trying to show you how you can also put up a line to create a different feel in the design. So I think I prefer what I had before the line itself. So I think I prefer something as simple as this. So just go ahead, put up your design, and voila, you have something tangible that you can use. So if you also want to combine everything again, all you need to do is select one thing, hold it down, and tap on select multiple, and then start selecting them. Now you can also zoom in and out to check out different things. Okay, you want to make some little tiny adjustment and tiny selection, you can always zoom in to tap on it to make a selection. Group this and you save. In as much as we have that background, we can also have a different background. You can click on replace and pick a different background entirely. Let's say we pick this very one. Okay, you can go ahead and switch it up and do other things. I don't like that very background very well, so I'm going to just click on different one, click on upload and choose a different one entirely. Let's say this is what I want to use. You can reposition it. Since it's a white background I'm using, it wouldn't really show that way, but if you notice, you see the color here is gray, so we need to tone it up to balance up with that color. So it's if you don't want to actually fill it up everywhere that way, and maybe reduce the transparency. All right, and turn it down that way and all that. If you don't want to do this kind of structure, which is actually a little bit distracting too, then you would want to have it somewhere at the side, just at the side, coming in that way, and then with the shade of the color it has. Since we made it transparent, it's not really pronounced, but we can always have it have the background to suit what we have. So let's say we want to switch up this background. All you need to is look for that same shade of gray, all right? Or you can use the color picker tool and just tap on that. So once you tap on that, it gives you that shade of gray and it blends up with the background. So that's how you can also play around with that one. And then if you're using that, then feel free to make your little adjustments so it doesn't really block the text. So you can use this to switch up backgrounds, make new arrangements, create different stuffs and all that. Okay, so let's say we're also picking different background entirely, and let's say we're picking something like this. Okay, this can also fit in as a side stuff, and if that's going to be fitting in, you can see it's cut halfway. You either be having it as a transparent stuff, so you can just attach it where you want to attach it, just somewhere around the side, because since it's cut at the edge there, you wouldn't want it to stay in the center because it will look as a hanging stuff. Okay, it will be looking like a hanging stuff, except you want to create a little manipulation feel. Let's say I want to attach it somewhere together with the text, so it gives it that feel as if it's manipulated and all that. So but that is not really necessary in this case because this is not a full image on its own. If you want to give that kind of feel, then you should be downloading a separate stuff that actually is standing on its own, like the case of this one that is standing on its own. Then make sure the background is removed so you have just the tone. You can also get transparent stuff directly on Google. Okay, this is also another option that you most have seen flying everywhere, especially on Insta days, and stuff like this always come in handy, especially when you have the design and you want to make it keep everything simple. So you can tap on this, use the eyedropper tool as usual, pick the color and click on done. The background will try to blend, but you will notice something here. The background you have in the default stuff has a gradient, so if you pick one, it will blend with that side, but it won't blend with all sides. So let's say you actually want to use that instead of the whole thing, so it's best to maintain that stuff as a full background, or you remove the background it has. So let's say you want to use this, you want to actually maintain it full this way, and maybe make the background color a different thing, so you just create that separation, or you maintain same thing all through. As far as it's not visible, if you check here, you can still see a little difference in that, and that is not a cool stuff to have. Okay, so if you can't get it to fade in by removing the background and having it transparent, then you should be having a something that is looking quite simple and better. So that's how you can also combine pre-made texts that way. Yes, another one we have there in position of this can be this one. All right, this also used by some brands. You notice some brands use that. I'm going to ungroup this and change the color as well. We'll change the color to suit that very one. So I'm going to just pick something like this. All right, so that's how you can also blend up things, and you can play around them over and over and over. And with that, you can create multiple Easter designs for different brands. So yeah, if you actually have any confusion while going through this, please drop your review in the comments in the Telegram channel. And if you have anything that is actually confusing you, ask. We downloaded the images from freepik.com, so do well to check out freepik and see other structures you have there. So this is the first, going back to the first thing we had before we switched up to the second. Right, this is one. I'm going to save this. This is another. We will go back to the first one too. This That's the first one. So yeah, all of them gives you different feel, and you can always download as many of those kind of images as you want. If you check search for happy Easter, you'll see some of those other um, images I used, like stuff like this and the likes. You see most of them here. Then you can also use, like this one I just used last is this. So you can download any one you want and then combine them, blend it up to give you the feel you want, and do quite a whole lot of other things with that. So in subsequent designs, we're actually going to take a step further and create even more awesome stuff. See you in the next class.